Imagine you're outside at night, looking up at the twinkling stars. Humans have been doing this for ages, wondering if there's anyone else out there in the big, wide universe. We've checked out our neighboring planets, thinking we were the only game in town. But then along comes Oumuamua, this super mysterious thing from way, way far away. And guess what? It's back, and it's stirring up some mighty strange stuff. Michio Kaku, a super smart science guy, just spilled the beans to everyone about it. Come with us as we dig into the story of Oumuamua's encore appearance and what it could mean for our little blue planet. It's not your run-of-the-mill tale. Dive into the mystery of the space vagabond with us. So there's this thing called 1I 2017 U1, or as we like to call it, Oumuamua. It's definitely not from around here, zooming through space at a mind-boggling speed of 196,000 miles per hour. The comets and asteroids within our solar system can't even keep up with that. They usually move at a slower pace of around 12 miles per second. Oumuamua is like some interstellar wanderer, a true interstellar vagabond. Here's the thing. We're not exactly sure where Oumuamua came from. It just casually strolled into our solar system from the general direction of the constellation Lyra. But honestly, it's impossible to trace its exact origin. You see, thousands of years ago, when Oumuamua first decided to embark on its journey away from its home planetary system, the stars were hanging out in a completely different arrangement. So yeah, pinpointing its original whereabouts is a real head-scratcher. Who knows? Maybe this space traveler has been cruising through the galaxy for billions of years. It all started in October 2017 at the Halakal Observatory in Hawaii. They spotted this tiny, bright speck in the vastness of space. Some say it looked like a long, slender cigar, while others think it resembled a spaceship straight out of a sci-fi flick. By the time they spotted it, though, it had already zoomed past our sun, executed a slick hairpin turn, and zoomed off in a different direction. So they named this cosmic oddity Oumuamua, and it means a messenger from afar arriving first in Hawaiian. Pretty fitting, considering its otherworldly origins. The astronomer who first spotted it, Robert Warwick from the University of Hawaii, knew right away that he had stumbled upon something totally new to physics. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill comet or asteroid. It was an interstellar visitor from a distant, unidentified solar system, the very first of its kind ever discovered. Now, here's where it gets really intriguing. Oumuamua had a couple of things that had scientists scratching their heads. First, it had this mysterious acceleration away from the sun, which didn't quite fit with what they thought it was made of. And second, its shape was downright peculiar. Some estimates suggested it was about 10 times longer than it was wide. To put that into perspective, the most elongated objects we knew of before Oumuamua were only 3 times longer than their width. Now, here's the interesting part. We still don't know exactly what Oumuamua looks like. All we've managed to catch through telescopes is a tiny speck of light. I mean, it's super far away and less than half a mile in length. But hey, based on its funky rotation, scientists think it's shaped like a long cigar. Sadly, we've lost sight of it, so we're relying on artists' concepts to give us a glimpse of what it could possibly look like. While scientists were trying to figure out what this space stranger looked like, one other weird thing happened to Oumuamua. It suddenly got a little boost in speed, and it caught us off guard. Thanks to some quick observations, we noticed that it had an unexpected acceleration, which slightly changed its trajectory from what we initially predicted. Apparently, it's all because of these jets of gaseous material being expelled from its surface. According to Davide Farnacchia from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, this kind of thing happens with many comets in our own solar system. Naturally, all this sparked wild speculation in scientific circles and made waves in the media. People wondered if Oumuamua could be a solid block of hydrogen, or even a gigantic cosmic dust bunny, like the ones hiding under our sofas. And then, of course, there was the bold suggestion from the esteemed Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb, who proposed that it might actually be an artificial construction created by intelligent extraterrestrial beings. Talk about thinking outside the box. Now, here's the thing. Scientists have had a hunch for ages that our solar system might be a popular pit stop for these intergalactic travelers. Some of them have been meandering through the stars for billions of years. But despite all the fancy telescopes scanning the skies, from the snow-covered South Pole to the sun-soaked Atacama Large Millimeter Array in the Chilean Andes, none of these visitors had ever been caught in the act until now, that is. Because not long after Oumuamua showed up, guess what? They found another one. It was on August 30th, 2019, when an engineer named Gennady Borisov, who's also an amateur astronomer, spotted this object moving in the pre-dawn sky from his own observatory in Crimea. And get this, he made his own telescope. Anyway, right from the start, he knew it was something special, 'cause it was going in a totally different direction than those comets in the asteroid belt near the solar system. They named it too, I/Borisov, to honor the guy who discovered it, and they think it's like a rogue comet, not tied to any star. So where the heck did these visitors come from, huh? And what can they teach us about alien solar systems? And how often are we gonna see them? To figure it out, it's helpful to know what they're actually made of. So Oumuamua hasn't been definitively called a comet or an asteroid yet, and it might actually be something else entirely. But most scientists have always thought that these interstellar objects would be comets. Well, as more data rolled in, more weird stuff started popping up that led scientists to start doubting everything they knew. There were these theories floating around about Oumuamua, the space wanderer. You might want to brace yourself because, as it turns out, aliens could be part of the equation. Yes, we know it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but let's dive in with an open mind. Avi Loeb, a rockstar professor of science and astrophysics at Harvard University, is at the forefront of these theories. In 2018, he co-authored a study that shook the scientific community. They seriously considered the possibility that Oumuamua, the mysterious space object, could be of artificial origin. Yes, you heard that right, alien tech. Mind-blowing, right? But wait, it gets even wilder. In their study, they also dropped the bombshell that Oumuamua might be an intentional probe sent to our cosmic neighborhood by an advanced alien civilization. Can you imagine that? We might have an actual interstellar visitor snooping around, sent by beings from another world. It sounds like something straight out of the X-Files. Now, ever since scientists have been monitoring this mysterious object, they have secretly wished to fly a probe out there and figure out what makes this thing tick. That seemed impossible for a while because Oumuamua was moving way too fast for any man-made object to catch up to it. To our great surprise, there's now some buzz about a proposed 2028 mission to the Space Wanderer, but Loeb has reservations. He thinks it's tricky because of the uncertainty surrounding Oumuamua's path and current position. Oumuamua's path is about as predictable as a squirrel in a bumper car, and finding it is almost as impossible as finding matching socks in the laundry. Plus, Oumuamua is fainter than a distant star at its current distance from the sun. So finding it would require a spacecraft equipped with a giant telescope. Instead, Loeb suggests we hold our horses and wait for another Oumuamua-like object to swing by our solar system. That's where the Galileo project, led by Loeb, comes into play, ready to jump at the next cosmic opportunity. But let's dig deeper into Oumuamua itself. It's a cosmic tumbler, rotating on multiple axes. Its shape is a mystery wrapped in an enigma due to its complex rotation. And when it comes to its composition, we're still scratching our heads. Now, there are a few things we know about Oumuamua. As we mentioned earlier, it's tumbling, rotating on more than one axis, which makes it tricky to determine its exact shape. Here's an interesting fact. Scientists have actually been expecting an interstellar object like Oumuamua for quite some time. They knew that eventually, these objects would enter our solar system. So, its visit reinforces our understanding of how planetary systems form. Now, what's Oumuamua up to these days? Well, after January 2018, it vanished from our telescopes, even the space-based ones. But researchers are still analyzing the data collected during the International Observing Campaign to uncover more secrets about this extraordinary interstellar visitor, and it seems its return might be just around the corner. What could this possibly mean for civilization? We'll give you a hint. It could be a potential disaster. Stick around to find out the grave implications of an event like this. In fact, we might not be alone in this cosmic adventure. In addition to Oumuamua's return, there's a good chance we'll see another one of these interstellar objects in the future. Oumuamua is like a rare Pokémon because it is the first one we've observed. So right now drawing definitive conclusions is a bit tough. But hey, observations hint that other star systems might regularly fling similar comet-like objects our way. So, keep your eyes on the sky because we could have more interstellar vagabonds wandering among the stars. And as Karen Meach, an astronomer at the University of Hawaii's Institute of Astronomy, puts it, I can hardly wait for the next interstellar object. Why Oumuamua is the strangest space object? So, scientists were like, okay, maybe Oumuamua is just a rocky asteroid, nothing fancy. But then, they got more observations, and things got really interesting. Alan Jackson, an astronomer from Arizona State University, noticed that it was accelerating away from the sun. And everyone quickly realized that's not normal behavior. Usually, comets speed up when they're heading back from a close encounter with the sun because their tails give them a boost, like a rocket engine. But Oumuamua didn't have a visible tail, so what was pushing it? It got Loeb thinking. Besides the sun's gravity, something else had to be pushing it away. He estimated that about 1/10 of its mass had to evaporate to explain the extra push. Remember when we said that Oumuamua might be a huge block of frozen hydrogen, like an iceberg in space? That theory would explain the invisible tail, but not everyone bought it. Loeb and his buddies argued that hydrogen ice wouldn't stay cold enough for that long to form such a massive object like Oumuamua. Plus, with its freezing point being just a smidge above the average temperature of the universe, it's hard to believe it survived the hundreds of millions of years it took to get here from its supposed origin. It would have been fried by starlight. Amidst all the confusion, the idea of Oumuamua being crafted by some intelligent alien civilization started sounding less crazy. The folks at the City Institute even aimed a telescope at it, hoping to catch any possible radio signals. Who knows, right? There was no harm in trying. Subscribe for more amazing videos like this.